You got me?
I got you. So all of you guys are on the line. We have 7 people counting me, but 7 on the line. I don't know if you guys heard that. Now, what is your opinion, you guys? Feel free to talk freely because on one hand, I believe that, what she's saying. I've talked to her. I believe her. And by the way, let me give you her website with her permission, youtube.com/yoked to Jesus, spelled JESUS, yoked to Jesus. So what do you guys think on that video? Some people say, you're born this way. It is not a choice. She clearly is saying it is a choice. Of course, I will be honest with you. I do believe it is a choice. And it's open line. Let's see if we could talk. If you hear someone talking over you, good luck. But who wants to jump in and talk about that?
I'll take a stab at it. Or I guess I'll go first since I got to go to church. Yes.
Okay, this is 951 area code. By the way, Crazy316, check out his website, youtube.com/KRAZIE316, so you know who's talking. Go ahead, Crazy316.
Okay. It can be considered as a choice, but to say it's fully a choice is kind of wrong. What we say it is that it is socially learned, which means environmental and social factors play a role over time. Because I can't just go out and just say I'm going to like men, you know what I mean, tomorrow. It's not going to happen. But over time, depending on different influences and at what age, because you have people who switch from homosexual or switch from heterosexual, and they do it at an early age or they do it at an older age. And what they will try to say is that, they were always that way, they're just in denial, or they were always that way, you know what I mean? But I think it's more of a socially learned thing. If you look at the studies of Gordon M. Shepard on brain plasticity, it shows that the brain can rewire itself and change the size of those connections of the neurons. And coupled with Mark Breedlove, the choices that you make and the actions you take have an effect on the brain. So rather, homosexuality is caused by the actions over time as opposed to the brain causing those actions. All right, I'm done.
All right, man. Awesome. And by the way, thanks for calling in. 480 area code. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Would you just say hello so I can test your sound? 480.
Can you hear me now?
We can. We sound like that cell phone commercial. Can we hear me now? I always try not to say that, but I always say it. Okay, so all right, Crazy316. So who wants to who voice their opinion next? Feel free to speak freely.
I will. Hello?
Go ahead. And who's this? What was your name again? Heather?
Heather, yeah.
All right, so Heather's going to speak. And go ahead, Heather. Feel free to speak freely.
All right. I think that homosexuality is not fully a choice, but I definitely think you're not born with it. I think that a lot of people who end up being homosexual, they had something traumatic happen to them in their past. Because I've heard testimonies after they got saved that God would show them, something from their past they didn't know about, they were molested or they saw someone get abused or something like that. And so it automatically made them, dislike the other opposite sex because they thought it would be bad for them or that they would harm them or something traumatic like that happened to them.
Actually, that's very interesting you said that. I do agree with that because I talked to a doctor, Paul Cameron, and he has a Ph.D. Heather, you must have a Ph.D. He said the same thing you said. And he said that, a lot of times what will happen, let's say in the lesbian lifestyle, a young girl will see her mother being abused.
Abused, yeah.
Yeah, and then so this is what will happen. But very good comment. And anyone else want to chime in, feel free. I know, John, you did. Can we go to John next, Aesop?
Yeah, sure.
I heard you speak, but you were polite, and you're like, oh, well, whatever.
One thing that I learned, I made the mistake of being involved with the degenerate subculture over 30 years ago. After I first got out of high school, I got involved in that when I was in Denver. And the one thing that I realized right away is that I discovered that nearly all people in that degenerate subculture are very shallow and superficial, as they are motivated and obsessed by youth as well as the desire to worship degenerate pleasure. Many times they are themselves in a situation where they find acceptance according to one's ability to flatter and praise another person's ego. And another thing that is very important, it's common for two people of the same gender to share a committed and devoted friendship without becoming sexually involved with each other. Since ancient times, sinners have always had the free ability to meet and join together in establishing private friendships without the need for government protection or approval, whereas marriage is one of the sacraments of the Church specifically ordained to be only between man and woman. Allowing degenerate permissiveness into culture eventually leads to demanding the free expression of immorality and the teaching of behavior modification in schools. This is what happens when people do not understand or respect the decent and traditional morals of society. They will radically chant for the right to live like animals while destroying the civil liberty and freedom of religion.
Now, John, may I give out your website, your YouTube website?
Yeah, sure.
If you guys would, the reason why I'm giving out the websites, if anyone has one, because I'd like people to know that these are real folks calling in. These are no planted, rehearsed callers. This is all live, unrehearsed. YouTube.com/Aesop's Truth, AESOPSTRUTH. That was the gentleman that was just speaking, and anyone else want to chime in?
He did an excellent job of what he did. But all right, you guys, I got to go inside and hook up my equipment. I will see you guys later.
All right, Crazy 316, ladies and gentlemen. Nice talking to you. And whoever wants to jump on next. And by the way, Derek, I'm saving your story of where you used to work and what you saw for a little later on the show, because I want to spend some time with my co-host, Derek, dmanforchrist.com, DMANN, the number 4, the word Christ.com, because he has a shocking story of how when he was a non-believer, he did not believe in Jesus Christ at the time. He now does believe that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, the life, the Son of God. He worked at a porn shop, and he's going to share some of the shocking, yes, ladies and gentlemen, shocking things that he saw, very dangerous, unhealthy things that he saw while working there. If anyone else want to jump in, Evan, let me ask Evan a question real quick, if anyone else wants to jump. Evan, what would you say to someone that says that, because we get this a lot where they'll say that it is something that you are born with or in the genes, that you're born this way, because I know you are very intelligent with the biology.
Well, there's just no evidence for this homosexuality gene. There's been a lot of research conducted where people's brains have been examined and their lifestyles have been examined. And what we find is that people who have a particular penchant for something or a lifestyle of a certain kind, that particular behavior, repeated behavior, tends to change the structure of the brain. So what we're seeing is not that people's brains they look different because they have some homosexual gene. They look different because a lifetime of behavior in a particular thing will modify the structure of the brain.
No, it's not
if
on
you
the
sit
radio.
and watch TV all the time, your brain is going to change in such a way that it's geared more towards audio-visual. And if you engage in sexual behavior all the time, your brain is going to change in such a way that it's geared towards sexual behavior. So all we observe is that the brain adapts to our behavior, and that's nothing new, and it doesn't provide any evidence that there's any kind of homosexual gene,
Okay. Now, I was going to play, I want to let everyone else have a chance to chime in, and you guys, you're all amongst friends here. Feel free to chime in, whoever wants to talk next. I was going to play basically what the the another